Hello, and welcome to the second session of Legacy Life Amongst the Ruin on the Gauntlet, run as part of the Gauntlet role-playing communities. I've got our three players back tonight. We're going to pick up where we actually ended last time. But before we do, we're just going to go through some of the basic things. That's part of the Gauntlet community. We use a number of safety tools. We are using the open table policy. So if at any time you feel like you need to have a break from the game, if things get uncomfortable, if you need to go to the toilet, if you just feel that this game isn't even for you, you can back out or just ask for some time away without any problems at all. We're also going to be using the X card. So as part of the X card, if something comes up that you're uncomfortable with, you can just say, I'd like to X card that, and at which point we'll stop the scene. I may ask for some clarification on what the problematic content is, but we won't actually ask for the reasons for it. We'll redress the scene and move forward without the problematic material in it. So we have our three returning characters who are each playing families in this post-apocalyptic wasteland. This wasteland is set in a large city, and there are three prominent player factions we have. So I'm going to go through each of you in turn and ask you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the family that you're playing. Sam, would you like to start?
Sure. I am playing Argalac Farms with the Cultivator of the New Flesh playbook. They are sort of combination of biotechnicians and farmers who are sort of growing genetically modified bounty in a remote mountain valley.
Would help if I unmute. Brilliant, thank you very much. And Kyle, would you tell us a little bit about the commune, please?
Yes, I'm playing Commune 83. Before the fall, they were a loose association of workers and experts. After, they've kind of fallen into an anarchy with no real leadership.
Brilliant. And which playbook are you playing?
Oh, right, the Enclave of Bygone Lore.
Brilliant, thank you. And Rye, could you tell us, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the Harriets, please?
Sure, yeah. Rye, I'm playing the the Lawgivers of the Wasteland, and they are a small group of kind of what remains of a vigilante group, I think, trying to bring some order back to the Wasteland, and they kind of blame the fall on the previous corruption that was in the society before that led to the downfall.
Brilliant, thank you very much. Now, there is one thing I want to address a little bit at the start. One of the things the rulebook lays out is the number of people that are in your family if you have a need or if you have an excess of recruits. I'm going to be a little bit flexible with that because the idea of a family with only 5 active members is not quite the level of the game that I want to play. So the needs and the I can't even remember the actual word. The need and the surpluses for things like that are just going to be narrative. We're not going to be sticking to any hard and fast numbers. They can inform your play style and how you play the game, but we're not going to be counting the numbers on it. So if you have a need of recruits, that could just be that you're highly pressed and you may have 200 people in your family, but it's not enough for the actual things that you're running and the schemes that you have in place, and you will struggle based on those lack of numbers. So it's a more narrative thing rather than saying you've got 10, you've got 15 active members of your family. And are you all okay with that? Okay.
I'm fine with that up to a point, but like I guess I would prefer to know roughly how large the groups of people we're dealing with here, right? So like it just matters for the fiction as much as for anything else.
Okay. Well, sorry, Ryan, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I'm also not worried about having a small family. I think that kind of drove the fiction last time of us putting us in a tight spot and of needing to get those recruits so that we can do more than one thing at a time. So okay. I'm fine to play small and then grow as we go too. So.
Okay, so if people are okay with that, then by all means we continue on with it. I just wanted to reinforce the idea that we don't need to be so concentrated on the numbers. It's the needs and the surpluses that are important, and what's a need for one family may not necessarily be a need for another family in terms of numbers. For example, a large collection of farmers may need mass workers to actually work the fields, or the tyrants of the wasteland, the tyrant kings, who are supposed to have armies. Their need of recruits would be much higher than a group, for example, like the Enclave of Forgotten Lore. But that said, okay, so a little bit of a catch up from last time for the people at home, because we do actually have someone watching. Hi, Adrian. Last game, we established the world. This wasteland is set within a city where several generations have passed since the fall. We've established that part of the fall was the influx of an invasive ecosystem of trees and insects that have come down from the north. Some actions were taken to try and retard that and to stop that. And as a result of that, we've got a forest in the northeast of the map called the Deadwoods, which is full of calcified trees. So some sort of weapons being used there, or some sort of plagues being unleashed there, or something's happened there to actually cause that. And that's actually stopped that the species spreading into that area. We've also established that there's an epidemic going on in the wasteland. There's something called the dreaming sickness, or the dreaming fever, where people are getting vivid dreams for the first few nights, but eventually they become more lethargic, and eventually they slip into a coma, and many of them have died. Now we've got 2 settlements where that's actually a major thing. We have Danford, which is just north of the Southern Bridge, and we have Eastwatch, which is just northeast of the Northern Bridge. Danford is basically where a lot of these refugees and lots of these sufferers are gathering, as they've been thrown out of other settlements. Because the settlements are closing their doors to people who they don't know, and basically make them wait out to quarantine period before they let them in. And those who fail basically get excluded and have nowhere else to go. But Eastwatch has had an outbreak, and they put out a call to help. As a result of that, the Harriers have offered help, but they're tied up with their duties guarding the Southern Bridge. So they've gone out and looked for people to try and help take over those duties while they go and investigate a cure, or go and try and contain the sickness, whatever their want may be. And so they had a meeting last time with the Red Gun Raiders, who are a raider band who use quite advanced armored vehicles, mainly armored cars and APCs, and maybe a tank or 2. And 1 gyrocopter that seems to get everywhere over the wasteland. And they made an offer. They would guard the bridge, but rather than just stopping people crossing, they would make them wait out the quarantine period. Then those who were clean, they would let through, but they would tax them. So that offer was made to Jailbird, who is Rye's character, and he's taken that back to the elders of the Harriers. And we haven't had a resolution on that yet, whether they're going to accept that offer or not. At the same time, because this plague is out there, there are several smaller settlements that have been infected, and some which have been absolutely decimated. And so there is the settlement of Morel, just north of Eastwatch, which has a number of work-in workshops where barter goods were made. When that village went silent, looters and squatters from the Deadwoods, from Wyatt Bones, came down and started picking over the remains. but they were driven off by the forces of Argelac Farms, who now are in possession of Morel and the barter goods and workshops that are there. And that, I think that's where we left the last session. So, with that said, Sam, you've got these barter goods.
Well, now I no longer have a need for barter goods. I just have an
Okay. So
maybe
does
one day we can have a surplus of barter goods through continued control of this area. I don't actually know how that works in the rules.
Okay. So you have these barter goods that are being made and being sent up to your enclave into the northeast, up to the Argelac Farms and the little the big grove of trees up there. Is there anything you want to do?
So I think my family is probably pretty happy right now. Wither, my character, who's a bit of a rebel and is interested in sort of things other than the prosperity of her family, is probably interested in going to Eastwatch to help out, or rather to maybe more accurately to work with the lawgivers if they're trying to secure the area or provide humanitarian aid or whatever we're doing here.
Okay, so what are you doing there? Are you conducting diplomacy?
So, well, this is an interesting question. What exactly is the nature of the problem in Eastwatch? Is that they have a lot of they have a lot of people who are sick and they don't know what to do about it.
Effectively, yes. They've had a load of people actually get. They've had 1 or 2 cases spring up inside the walls, and then just an entire section of the town has had basically been quarantined, just to save the rest of the town itself.
Okay. So I think that she's going to be there providing aid, relying on our family ability to kind of protect her from the sickness, and be there in a combination of trying to help out the quarantine and trying to kind of like manage the people taking care of the sick.
Okay, so you come to the gates of Eastwatch, and this isn't really a real zoom in. This is just more a narrative thing for the family moves. You come to the gates of Eastwatch, and you can see that there's about 30 to 40 people outside. Many of them have stitched together tents and shelters that are made from scrap, and you can see guards up on the walls. Somehow they've managed to get searchlights that actually span over the camps, and you can see that there's an armed presence on the gate. As you walk through the camps, you hear people coughing. You hear people. They're in a real low mood. You can hear there's just general sickness around you. People are drained and tired, and they're stuck outside of the gates while they wait for this quarantine period to pass. As you walk through the camp, you hear shouting.
I'll go over and take a look.
You walk over to one of these tents, and you can hear someone screaming inside, and they're shouting out in a language. Well, it's not. You're not even sure it's a language. It's like tongues. They're saying things over and over and over, and they're saying the same phrase over. Gulak Haile, Gulak Haile, Gulak Haile, and it just carries on, and there's this scream, and it goes quiet.
I guess I'll poke my head in.
You open the flap, and you can see that there's this old lady in a very old patched sleeping bag, curled up on a pad on the floor.
Are you all right?
I'm sorry. Who are you? And she backs up and reaches for her cane, which is beside the pad.
I'm just passing by. I heard screaming. I wanted to make sure everything was okay.
What? No. What? No. No. Everything's fine. And she tries to pick herself up. You can
What?
see that she's physically weak.
What's Gulak Kyla?
What? What? I don't know.
Do I think she's telling the truth, or no?
Do you think she's telling the truth or not?
Is there a move for this? I feel like there is. Let's take a look.
Okay, in which case we are going to do a very brief zoom in.
I mean, I feel like we're already zoomed in.
Yeah, effectively.
Uh,
So if you look on the character moves,
let's see.
there's not a move.
Maybe
There's not a move.
Oh, let's see. Hold on. You're right. There doesn't seem to be any kind of
No.
move. Huh? All right.
But you can hear people. You can hear shouting in the camp outside the tent.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll go outside.
And as you come out, you can see a group of about 12 people there. They look angry. They look scared. They have weapons on them.
I'm gonna see if I can see any familiar faces in the crowd. So that's plus sway.
Okay.
Okay. So
If you click on sway.
yeah,
on
so
the
I'm trying to find my character. Do the characters have names, or is it just I'm just the sentinel or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to edit and rename your characters, please do so. I'll move them down to the where the families are then, so they're all in the same area.
Okay. How did that go?
That was a 4.
I didn't go super well, did it? Yikes.
No. So you look around and you do spot a familiar face. There's a young, an 18, 19-year-old boy there. He has ripped jeans. He has a denim jacket that's worn through on the elbows and
the old Canadian tuxedo.
And you're pretty sure that he is from Wyatt's Bones.
All right, so what's all this shouting about?
She's infected. We have to get her out of the camp.
Who, the woman in the tent?
Yes. And a group of them start moving up to try and actually barge past you to get to her.
I mean, she sure seems like she's infected. Yeah, all right. I'll let them do that. I'll just say be gentle with her. She's old and frail. Yeah.
They walk in and they basically pick her up under her arms and march her straight to the edge of the camp.
Mm-hmm. I assume this is where they're taking her to where the other sick are.
No, the other sick don't stay.
Where do they go?
Out. We don't care, just not here.
Okay.
And she's screaming. She's trying to get back into her tent and grab her things, and they're not letting her.
I'll go grab the woman's things.
Okay.
And I'll tell her that I'm doing this.
Okay. She she cries at the people. She turns to one of them. Johan, why are you doing this? I looked after you for years. When your mother died, who helped you? And he just goes stony-faced, and you can tell that he's wanting to say something, but he can't. And they march her to the edge of the settlement and literally throw her out.
Okay, they just like toss her onto the ground.
Toss her onto the ground. As she gets up to try and move back, they 3 or 4 of the toughs stand forward and basically block her way.
Well, this is pretty grim, but she does have an uncurable contagious disease, so like, it's like I understand where they're coming from. All right, I'll bring some of her stuff at least.
Okay. She takes it. Thank you. And she can barely lift the pack. And taking a stick, she walks slowly away into the dark night.
Do I know anywhere where there are sort of communities of people who are sick that are kind of like that she could go to?
Well, there's Danford is the main one.
Okay.
Which is down south.
Yeah, I guess I'll head with her to Danford. It's probably time I started heading south anyway. This problem seems like it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Okay, brilliant. And we'll zoom back out now.
Okay.
And was there any family moves you actually wanted to make?
Not really, but I guess we'll do something. Let's take a look at what the family moves available are. If there's something useful to be doing. Okay. Yeah, let's uncover secrets, I guess.
Okay.
I think that this will reflect our newfound interest in what's going on with this disease, and we now have a lot of new data in the form of this town that we've taken over.
Okay. So, are you spending any data on this roll?
I don't think I have any data. Do we start with data?
No, you don't, normally.
Okay.
So, at which point, this is just going to be a straight roll.
How do I do a straight roll?
Let me just have a look.
Remind me, Kyle, did the commune already figure out how to cure the disease or something like that, or where to go for?
I don't think so.
Okay. You guys did. Whatever you did, you guys looked into something, but I don't remember you.
Yes, they found a number of people who had survived the disease.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
That haven't succumbed to the full effects of it, and gained some data out of that.
Got it.
So no, there doesn't appear to be any way to roll.
Just 2d6.
2d6. So if you go to the chat,
yeah,
and type in roll / roll 2d6 space 2d6. I'm sorry if I took over that.
You can also click up on the top left. There's that little dice symbol, and that'll expand, and then you can click how many of what kind of dice you want to roll.
Okay.
Okay. So you got a 5.
Yep.
So yes. While you're investigating this, you have samples brought back to the lab. You have your people go through it. They start running tests on it. All is going well. Your scientists are making small little discoveries. Till one day, one of them is not as careful as he should be. And one of the vials drops and cracks.
Well, it's a good thing that my
And
family.
I think you're going to gain a need for medicine at this point.
Well, it's a good thing. Well, I will note that my family is immune to disease,
Oh,
as long as they eat their own food, which they do. So that consequence seems like it's fictionally barred.
yes, you're quite right. I'd missed that. Okay, so in which case then, I think there's an accident at the lab, and some of the lab equipment is damaged.
Okay.
So I think you're going to gain a need for technology.
Okay, that's fine.
So with that said, your character starts the long trek down to Danford, around the large basin lake that the crater on the riverbank formed. While you're en route, Kyle, what has the commune been doing? Kyle, you're muted, I think.
Sorry, lost track of the StreamYard window. I was looking at Rubles. I think we've been looking into the plague more because it's it's on our side of the river, and we're trying to figure out if there's a cure or some way to treat this.
Okay, so you've been looking at the folks that you bring back and these living bodies. That sounds like Uncover Secrets.
All right.
What exactly have you been doing? Because that will inform the narrative based on the outcome of the roll.
I think we've been trying to go through old records to see if this has ever shown up before, and if we have like any record of what works with treating this or anything.
Okay, so in which case then, can you roll Uncover Secrets, please? Are you
Yes.
spending any data on this?
I don't think we have any. Oh wait, we have one. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so roll 2d6 plus 1.
Four.
Okay. So you're going through the records, and you go through all the records of the times before that you have in your storage banks. You go through all the paperwork and the actual. I think you actually have a library of printout books as part of it as well, because we're very limited with computers, as we've mentioned previously. And you're going through this, and you do find a record of something very, very similar. There was a fungal spore that was said to cause a very similar thing, but it wasn't communicable. People would breathe in the spore and have very similar symptoms, but it would only affect the ones the spores affected. So,
All right. I've also
So-
got the family move eye for details. So when I uncover secrets, I always get to ask a second question. Does that even happen on a miss?
if it says always, then always, yes. So
Okay.
you can ask a question.
So it sounds like it's like the fungal infection. How best can we make use of this information to like cure it? Is that a valid question?
Yeah, that's fine. You would have to find some way of combating the fungus and to stop the fungus spreading.
Okay.
So it's something that would attack the fungus directly, or at least stop it putting down spores.
All right. I guess that means I need to go talk to some experts on plant stuff, so I guess I'll go head up to Argalac Farms.
Okay. And while you're heading up there, Rye, what have the Harriers been doing? I believe you have a decision to make about an offer that was made.
Yeah, I think they are weighing that decision, but I think they are also going to see if there's an alternative available. But I think first they're going to send back a tentative offer since they've already spoken with the Red Gun Raiders. Do we need to zoom in for that, or can I just?
No, we can do that. We can just do that as narrative. That's not a problem at all.
So I think what their tentative offer is that they will allow the Raiders to take over the bridge, and they can do what they need to do there, tax whatever. But that they would like the Raiders to send 5 to 10 people with them. And so with this, I was thinking of kind of angling towards getting recruits, and then also I think I have a move if I can remember all the moves here.
It is a rather playbook intensive game.
Yeah, I thought I had another move. Anyway, yeah, I was thinking that we would. Maybe I'm getting confused here.
The moves that you have are lay down. Family moves are lay down the law.
Yeah.
And tooled up and looking for trouble.
Yeah, so maybe never mind on that. Let's see. Yeah, so never mind on that. I think what we'll do is we'll go and we will see if the if Commune 83 has a few senior folks that they could put in touch with, and I was going to spend 1 Trini on them and see if they would cover their end of the bridge, and then also as an item that we have, an asset, I have enforcers quality 1. So I was thinking that maybe we know like a number of kind of individuals around the wasteland that kind of travel here and there, and maybe we could round up a few of them to kind of support the Commune 83 on kind of from military side on supporting that end of the bridge. But I think first we would have to talk to them and see if they'd be willing to do that.
Okay, so what you're doing there is you're calling in a debt. When you call on an obligation another family has to you, spend 1 treaty and choose one. Gain +2 on a move that targets them. Take a surplus from them, or get them to back you up. Fall into indecision or protect something important.
Yeah, so getting me to back me up.
Player families can resist by spending 1 treaty on you, or holding together if they have none.
I don't think we're going to resist. This sounds like a good idea to us. So, yeah, we'll watch the bridge from our side.
Okay. Good. Then I think that frees us up to head up to Eastwatch and start. I think part of what they were requesting from us was help kind of with the getting them supplies too, right? They were in need of supplies.
That's right, and especially now as one of their major sources of trade goods and barter is actually dried up.
Okay. So I guess, yeah, we'll start looking for someone who might be able to provide them supplies on our way up there. And then also just helping out with the quarantine once we get up there.
Okay. So, Kyle, can you describe the sort of people that you are sending to actually guard the east end of that bridge? What does Commune 83 actually look like, and how does it make that decision, given that it has no leaders?
I think when they send out the request to the Commune 83, and the people just sort of like go around and look at each other like, yeah, I mean, and they've done us a good turn in the past, so and we need to stop this thing from spreading, so I guess might as well. And just a few of the more military type folks, which isn't many, admittedly. We've got some power armor, which I'm thinking was like repurposed industrial stuff. So some folks take out the power armor and just sort of stake out our side of the bridge.
Excellent. So with that in mind, right, you said that you wanted to use your followers to round up some folks.
Yeah, I guess I could if they can kind of do that on their own and hold the bridge, then I would use my followers to help support us finding. Well, I guess they're enforcers. Do you think enforcers could find goods, or should I use them to guard the bridge? What do you feel is fair?
Well, they may not be able to find goods themselves, but they can certainly protect the people going out to look for them.
That's true. Okay, so we'll round up all the people that we kind of know that are savvy in the wasteland and kind of military savvy, and we'll head up to Eastwatch there.
Brilliant.
And I do have a tooled up and ready to go move, so I don't know if that's applicable here or not. But.
Let me just have a look at it. 2 seconds.
So when you arm up your family and move out in mass to bring justice, I don't know if we're bringing justice. So. Yeah, probably not. We'll save that one.
I don't think it quite counts in this
Cool.
point yet. Okay. So you head up towards Algerak Farms. On the way, I think you're going to come across 2 travelers heading south. Kyle, is your character going north as well, or are you at the bridge?
I'm traveling north, yeah.
Okay. So I think as you travel north, Rye, Jailbird on his motorcycle, and Kyle, what sort of transport do you have?
I think I'm just traveling in the power armor. It's not the fastest thing, but it tends to ward off attack.
Excellent. So as this convoy of motorbikes, horses, and powered armor, as you do, moves out across the wasteland, I think you come across a traveler heading south. And Sam, you've been heading south with this old lady, and you can see that she's getting physically weaker and weaker. As time goes on, eventually you're having to carry her yourself. And it's at that point, I think, where she's just on the cusp of passing away. She can barely open her eyes when she tries to wake up. That's where I think the other 2 characters come in. So, where are you checked up?
I don't know. It sounds like we're somewhere between Eastwatch and East River. I don't know how far we've gotten. There's this big, probably maybe we're by the shore of this big, huge lake thing, the Crater Lake.
Okay. So what sort of build? Are you in a building? Are you out in an exposed area with a tent? What does it look like?
Maybe we're in an old so what would this have been before? Was this like a super populated area, or was this more like a trail?
No, this was a metropolis.
Okay.
This was a huge city.
So yeah, then maybe we're in we're in a man-made structure of some time. Maybe it was like an old convenience store.
Okay. So you can hear movement outside. In fact, Kyle, am I safe in assuming that the power armor is of the very noisy style, or is it a super advanced, very quiet servos and?
It's on the noisy side, yeah.
Engine running all the time and okay.
Oh yeah.
So So
Power
you,
armor's pretty noisy, yeah.
so you can hear that a long way off.
And I know. Actually, I don't remember the name of your character, Kyle. By the way, I managed to figure out how I changed my character's name on the sidebar so people can see it. I would encourage others to do the same.
It's Samuel.
Samuel. Okay, so my character knows Samuel. Might not recognize the sound of his power armor specifically, but visually probably could do so, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come out and greet you then. Strangers on a road.
Oh.
I'm just dropping the characters down to the family section as well, so you have both your playbooks in the same area, just to make it a bit easier. So, what is this meeting like? There's this big column of, well, I say big column. It's around about 20 people moving north, but there's this quite large exosuit mechs, power armor that's moving up the street with several smaller vehicles and motorcycles and horses around it.
So this is a big group. Brings the commune north.
Oh, we have some news about this infection that's going around. We're hoping to get the farm's aid in resolving it.
They don't seem very interested in anything outside the farms right now, except for in morale. I guess that means at least you won't have to go all the way north. Yeah, it's terrible out there. Have you been to Eastwatch?
No.
That's where I'm heading with some of these folks. We heard that they need help. Have you been through there?
Yes, I came down. I don't know. There's not much I can do by myself. I've been bringing a woman, one of the infected, who they cast out. I've been bringing her down to Danford, but I think this is the end of the road. She can't travel any farther. We need to do something.
And it's at that point you hear screaming and shouting from inside the convenience store.
I'm gonna run back in.
Her eyes are closed, and she is having one of these energetic dreams. She says the same phrase over and over and over.
I'll do my best to comfort her, I guess.
Her breathing grows shallow. You can feel that there's damp on her skin. She takes a breath. She breathes out. Just for a moment, in the lamp beside the bed, you think you can see something. Just something very, very fine coming from her mouth.
Oh. I guess I'll get out like some, I don't know, a swab or something and like wipe it across her lips and try and get some of this stuff.
So you bottle this up, and as you look, you can definitely see there's a residue on there. One of the Harriers comes to the door. Is everything okay in here? And he barges basically pushes his way in.
I say, don't come in. She's infected.
But he stands back and pulls up his bandana over his mouth. But that means how you're infected as well.
I shouldn't be. But we'll see.
Boss, We've got a problem here.
What's going on?
Have a look. And he opens the door. Yeah.
This is the woman you were talking about?
Yes.
She's,
I hold this bottle. She's just coughed up this.
I think the jailbird takes kind of a reflexive step back, seeing something in a vial and squints into the light. What is it?
I don't know.
How long have you been traveling with her?
How long have I been traveling with her?
About a week.
And how long does the sickness usually take to set in?
About a week.
You should have told us before that you were traveling with someone with the sickness.
I did tell you that.
Sorry.
That's the first thing I told you.
I think we're going to need to quarantine you here to make sure that you're not contagious. We don't want to get it. We respect Argalac Farms and we'll definitely take care of you, but I don't know if we can take you with us.
That's fine. I'll make my own way.
Do you think your people can figure out what that is?
I do.
All right. Well, best you be getting up there and figuring it out as soon as possible. Jailbird will grab the cuff of her subordinate's shoulder and pull him out of the room. Just go.
Kyle, what are you doing while this is going on?
I think Samuel's just gonna watch them and wait for their confrontation to end, and then come over. And I think he brought some scholars with him, just to this is a research expedition, and be like, so you say she coughed that up? Any idea what that is?
What does it look like?
It's just little tiny particles. You know when someone vapes and you get the little fine mist that hangs in the air.
Okay, I'll tell them. It's like vape.
Huh. Well, isn't that odd? Is this thing airborne?
I've never seen. I've been with her and I haven't seen her do this before. Right?
Yep.
This seems new.
Well, it's a lot like some fungus we used to see back before the fall. Maybe this is some.
Makes sense.
I guess we'll be heading with you, I suppose, back towards wherever you're. Are you heading back to Argalac Farms, or where are you going?
Yeah, I should go back to the farms. As you'll see, they've created an outpost in Morel. So.
Well, we'll go with you and keep our distance a bit for now until we're sure you don't have it. But I think maybe between the two of our groups, we can figure this out.
See, I hope so. As I said, you're not going to like what you see when you come to Eastwatch.
Okay, and I think we'll zoom out at that point. And so it's about a week. Well, it's about a week on. Sam, sorry, can I just check? Do you have any transport option for your family?
Nope.
Okay, so it's about a week on foot to get to Eastwatch, but given that you're on vehicles, you can do that in roughly 2 days. So you get up there, you move up there quite quickly, and when you get there, you can see as you approach, you can see fire, you can see smoke going into the sky.
That's new.
As you get closer, you can smell ash, and literally ashes falling from parts of the air as it's carried by the wind. And there's this sickly smell of burnt flesh. And as you get there, you can see, as you pull up on the highway that leads in there, you can see that the camp around the walls of the town itself is ablaze. It's not... Sorry, I say ablaze. It's smouldering. The camp has basically been wrecked, been brought down to the ground. Brought to the ground. It's nothing but ash. And you can see that there's big mounds of pyres where bodies are being burnt. You come to the walls. You can see that the people on the walls are watching you. And I'm going to say this is quite early in the morning. This is just after dawn, so we've got the sun actually rising in the east and casting a red dawn over the actual fiery remains, the smouldering remains that make it look like a scene from hell. You come to the gates, and a guard keys in the PA system. Shh! Stop there! Who are you? Why have you come here?
I guess Jailbird will look quickly over to Samuel and kind of say, do you want to answer or should I?
I thought I was still with... I didn't think I was with Jailbird.
Oh, have you broke off to go with the North then?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
So,
I guess
I misunderstood that as well. Sorry. So, Jailbird, you get to the walls, and what are you doing?
I guess they will step forward and I guess we don't I don't know if we have a little megaphone or something to respond back to, but she'll shout as loud as, or they'll shout as loud as they can. The Harriers received word that Eastwatch was in need of help in terms of supplies, as well as some security measures to keep the infection from spreading. We're here to uphold that request.
And from the actual gatehouse itself, you see the person on the microphone. Jailbird, is that you?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God, man. Thank God. Stay away from the walls. People here are mighty touchy. You may want to get away from... They point out to the camp. Just get back from there. We'll send someone out to talk to you.
All right, we'll wait.
And a few minutes later, the gates open, and someone in a mask, bandana over the mouth, helmeted up, walks up, and you can see that they're not quite as quickly as you'd expect. And they come up, and they stand around about 20 foot away from you. Oh, thank you for coming. We need all the help we can get.
How many of you are left?
About 80 of us are infected. About as many again who are not.
All right. Well, we will make a camp out here outside the walls. And what supplies are you in need of the most?
We cannot send foraging parties out. We have very little food. We cannot hunt. If you could bring us fresh meat. We have only smoked fish and smoked meats left, and what vegetables we have grown within our own gardens.
We can do that. How is the security holding up? What happened with the camp over there?
The outbreak spread quickly. They started dying. Those who remained tried to force the gate.
And you take it you responded with excess force here, it looks like.
No. We kept them out. Their foolishness started the fire. We did not strike the first blow. All we did to save ourselves. But once the fire caught, we could not risk coming out to save them.
Fair enough. Well, may I know your name?
I am Topaz.
Has Gilbert heard of Topaz? I have a move called Long Memories, which is when you enter a new court, I get to roll plus lore. I can name one secret of the leaders or an enemy of theirs.
Okay. Do you want to make that move?
Yeah, we'll do that. Let's see, that's plus lore. Six. We're doing wonderful today. Let's see. It says, yeah, it doesn't say what happens on a 6. So I guess I haven't been here before. I don't know these folks that well.
Okay. You've heard of Topaz. Topaz was one of their hunters. But beyond that, you know that, well, from what you've heard, they were quite extreme in their reaction to things. They would always err on the side of caution.
Topaz, how many were left or how many fled? Do you know where they went from the camp over there?
No, we do not. We have counted the bodies. There is 32 that we have counted. We do not know where the rest have gone. Some fled once the fighting started. We
shall talk more later. Please take your rest. We will send out a hunting party immediately.
Thank you. Thank you. And he turns around and starts walking back towards the gates. And the gates open a slither and let him through. And close with a screeching sound of rusted metal. Okay. So, Cal and Sam, you've headed north, back to Algelac Farms. Are you going to the farms or are you going to Morrill?
Well, I think I would pass through Morrill naturally to get to Argelac Farms.
Sorry, I mispronounced it again, aren't I? Sorry, how's it said?
It's Argilac Farms with a hard G.
Argilac.
It doesn't
I'm
really matter.
sorry. I'm
It- it-
sorry.
It's,
I'm
it's,
terrible.
it's an imaginary place in the
Yeah,
future.
but it's your imaginary place, and I should be trying to actually say it properly. So you get to Morrel, and as you get up there, you pass several dead bodies along the side of the road.
Mhm.
People who just seem to curl up into balls and stop moving. There are more than you would expect, and you get up to. You pull into Morrel, and you can see that there's caravan of around about 10 or 20 animals with a few pack leaders ready to transport goods up to the farms themselves.
Mhm.
What sort of animals are these?
That's interesting. Let's say that they're probably like the they're probably things that are grown from rodents. Have you guys read After Man by Dougal Dixon?
No, I'm afraid not.
So this guy's like a zoologist who wrote a couple of books of kind of like speculative zoology. They have these beautiful illustrations, and one of them is one of them is called The New Dinosaurs. It's like what would happen to dinosaurs after a few million years if they hadn't gone extinct. And then one of them is called After Man, which basically the premise is that humans go extinct, and the kind of like species that are most dependent on humans, so like cows and goats and cats and dogs, will all go extinct, and then other animals change to fill those niches. And so a lot of rodents expand and fill a lot of the niches that were filled formerly taken by other kinds of livestock. I think that's what we have here.
Okay, so rats or ferrets or
ferrets are mustelids. So they are not rats, but they are related to rats, and you can see that when you look at them, even though they're filling the role of like horses.
Excellent. So you can see that they have several. They have little panniers basically put on the sides to carry these goods, and you can see that they're loading up with tins of a few tins of food. There's wood products that they've been whittling in the workshops there, and actually you can see that there's actually some furniture strapped on there as well. Just all the little things that actually come from the myriad of small little workshops in this village, in this town. As you pull into the town itself, you can see you've got the people from the farm, and you can see them all very, very, very busy. But as you come in, you can actually see that there appears to be a stocks, as in a stockade, in the town square itself. And you can see that there's someone locked into it.
Do I recognize them?
Yeah, you saw them about a week and a half ago, outside of Eastwatch, in the survivors camp.
Okay.
He's there in his patched denim shirt and trousers.
Yes.
He's screaming insults at the farm staff as they go about their business.
What did this one do? I asked someone.
He was caught thieving. He tried to break into our supplies and take some of our food.
I see. What exactly are we doing here? Is this raiding? Empire building?
Not everything we need can actually come from within the farm. We're just taking what we need. We're not disturbing anyone. This place was empty. And the kid shouts up, "No, it wasn't. We were here." Hush, child. this place was empty.
This kid probably knows that any other faction here would just have, well, wouldn't even have wasted a bullet on him.
It does pose a question of what we do with him, though. He has tried to steal from us.
Are we staying here? We can always let him go once we leave.
The workshops are useful. Do we? That's up for the elders to decide. We can't transport them all. We don't have the facilities to do so. The products, though. And he starts screaming and shouting again.
Kid, if they let you go, what are you gonna do?
Doesn't matter, bloody farmer. Goddamn stupid farmer. You keep all this stuff for yourself. You don't need all this stuff. This was ours. And you've taken it from us, just like you've taken every goddamn thing from us.
Aren't you from Wyatt's Bones?
He goes quiet and looks off to the side. Doesn't matter where I'm from, farmer.
Doesn't sound like this is yours either.
We were here first.
By
We
what,
got
an
you.
hour?
We got here before you. This is ours. You took it from us.
You don't make the law. And the law of first come, first serve is no more just than the law of to hold is to own.
Well, that's it, isn't it? You've got to hold it. And that's when
threatened by a 12-year-old? Yeah.
and that's when the gunfire starts.
All right. Good times. Okay.
We're gonna zoom in. So for each surplus Sam and Kyle have, you can add one additional trait to one piece of equipment that you have. Rye, would you like to play a quick character in this instance? Okay. Would you like to play a member of the Enclave in their funky power armor, or would you like to play a farmer with their drug needle weapons?
I'm taking power armor.
Okay. Can you gen up a quick character?
See what I can do.
And you can take one move from the Enclave for inheritance moves. And let me just have a look. Now I can't see anyone. So the stats that you get as a bonus for being with the Enclave is.
Do you mind throwing a new quick character?
Oh yeah, yes, certainly. Sorry.
No worries.
Here we go. Sorry, I'm going to put it down in the player families thing. 1 second. There we go. There you go. So, as I was saying, for being a member of the commune, you get. Where is it? You get +1 to steal or law. And you get to pick one of the inheritance moves. Okay. So, can I ask what additional tag have you added to your equipment, Kyle and Sam? Sam, I don't think. Do you have any surpluses at the moment?
Yeah, I have 2.
Okay. So you can add two tags.
Yeah. Or well, actually, can do a whole lot of other shit. There are 4 different tool up options. It looks like.
Okay.
So I'm going to add the ranged tag to my darts, and I'm also going to get as many copies of a weapon, outfit, or vehicle needed to outfit the whole party. So, well, I guess the whole party just the other PCs, right? So maybe we don't need that. They have their own shit. I will get a set of followers for this mission with 1 quality and an appropriate specialty.
Brilliant. Okay.
What are qualities, by the way?
Qualities are what they can do. So if you have a look at the enforcers, they're normally there for enforcing the law and the like. Scientists do research. Basically, there's a follow-on move. You can send them off to do something.
Got it. Let's say these guys are rangers, basically.
Okay.
And yeah. Oh, and then so what's the difference between qualities and specialties?
Sorry, quality is the bonus that they get when they roll.
Got it.
So quality 1 gets +1 to it. Quality 3 gets +3.
Okay.
And specialities is basically what they can do.
Got it. Okay. And then I have given my so I get a free tag to my armor free tag to my outfit for being a sentinel and taking comms. I get 2 bonuses from having used cultivate twice at the beginning of this age. I'm taking +1, or they are +1 armor from cultivating crops, I think, and then an aberrant tag for my weapon from cultivating medicine.
Brilliant.
And not that I have any of those things to spare. I had needs of them. Sorry, friends. We'll have to cultivate more shit if we want to actually help anyone. Yeah, I don't know what the aberrant tag does, but hopefully something cool.
It basically allows you to hurt things that can't normally be hurt.
Oh, well, that's not that useful. But my weapons already have the non-lethal tag, and that's the other choice. So, all right. And I'm purchasing the range tag. So I have tranquilizer guns.
Brilliant. And Kyle, what are your tulip options?
I'm going to. I guess everyone gets all my followers get a power armor, and we have guns, I guess.
Yep. So you can add tags or add additional things to them based on the surpluses you have. How many surpluses do you have?
I have 2, and I'm going to spend 1 so that everyone has a copy of the power armor, and spend the other so that everyone has a gun.
Brilliant. Okay, sorry, I misunderstood what you were doing there. Okay, so Rye, can you introduce your quick character, please?
Yeah, I'm going to be playing Henry, who will also be having power armor, and he is an agent, so they are skilled in defense. You're supposed to pick a skill, so it'll be defense. And then I think I just get the same gear as the rest of the family, right?
That's right, yes. But in this case, you get everyone gets power armor and guns because of what Kyle spent on his tulip.
Okay.
So.
Oh, and I have a pain box as my inheritance move.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, that is a very right suppressant weapon. Okay, so there is gunfire to the north of the town itself. Oh, sorry, and what's your character's name, Rye? I can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry, Henry.
Okay, so there's gunfire to the north of the town. It's sporadic. It's only single shot. Bang, 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 bang. And suddenly there's bells being rung and the place goes to a scene of confusion. You can see one of the pack animals reacts as bullets land near it. and you can see figures moving through the buildings to the north. These figures are all raggedy. They're all in scraps of clothing, but the guns they are carrying they're almost pristine. They come across you and they send fire down range. There's around about 12 of them. And they're obviously not trained at this. They don't have a great expertise. They're not moving and covering each other. They're effectively fighting as individuals, even though there's a group of them. And what are people doing?
I think that I feel like the people in power armor are like a big, obvious, hard target, and so I'm going to take my rangers. But I think in context, this is just that, like, people in my family know who I am. They respect me, even if they don't always agree with me. And like, if I'm take control of the military situation, they're going to follow my lead. And
I was going to say, are these rangers the caravan guard that have come down then, or?
Yeah, or they're like more militarily adept family members who are in this area.
Okay.
And who are part of the mission to control this. So, and I think we're going to kind of like fan out onto the kind of the like sort of disappear into cover, and then move against these people one by one at a time, like a bunch of us versus each one of them if they're going to fight.
Okay. To me, that sounds like you're fiercely assaulting. Which is the character move to actually injure someone else or actually fight someone else.
Sure. Do you think that this could be said to be ambushing enemies with a coordinated strike, or no?
I think you'd have to have some foreknowledge of them in this instance, so I don't think you're ambushing in this instance.
Okay, that's fine. Then let's try using this move, which I'm sure, given this game, is a extremely unfortunate move to be stuck using.
So that's roll plus force.
Yeah, just looking at what the move actually is.
Okay, and that would be
a 9.
That's an 8.
Just right, 8, right?
That's an 8.
It includes my stuff.
Yeah.
And interesting. Oh, so is advantage before has to be on before or after rolls?
That would have to be before roll in this.
I guess that would make sense. Oh, well. I was going to ask if one of these guys wanted to help, but.
Oh well, no, that makes sense. If any of you actually wanting to actually, sorry, I'm looking at the. Sorry, I'm still new to the system myself. Okay, there is a move called Call for Aid. After failing a roll as well as you'd like, say what other character nearby can do to boost your efforts. If the group agrees, the helper say how they do it and roll an appropriate stat. If the helper has a relevant backstory with you, they take advantage on the roll. If they hit, you increase the result by 1 category. So they can actually do that if you want to. So who are you calling for? Which character? What actually happens to throw that assault off slightly? And what character do you call on for help when the fighting starts?
Sure. I mean, the thing that just throws us off is just that, you know, these guys have the initiative. These guys have the sort of surprise advantage. So it takes a little time for us to get together and start fighting back. So I think clearly I'm going to call for the person who I know rather than the quick character, who is sorry, I keep forgetting your character, Samuel. Which is ironic that I keep forgetting it, since it is in fact my name.
Yeah, so I'm in power armor. I think I'm like charging over a big, impressive scary threat, just trying to like distract and intimidate the enemy.
Okay, so you draw the fire of the enemy away. So could you roll the...
Yeah.
And I feel like you might have advantage because we have some kind of like relevant relationship. I don't remember exactly what it is, but
Okay, so can you roll...
oh yeah, Samuel helped me get out of a siege alive. It doesn't get more relevant than that.
Yeah. So Kyle, can you roll 3 dice for force, please, and take the 2 best results?
Yes. I got a 4.
Oh. Okay. If they fail, the results drops to a 6 and less, and they share the consequences. So
Well, that was bad.
you go charging in, and you come running in. You try and draw the fire to them, which you do. The fire starts coming down at you, but these guns, these shiny, immaculate new guns, these powerful, shiny, immaculate guns, throw a withering hail of fire down as they finally figure out what the auto fire does. And your power armor just gets pitted with shot after shot after shot. But it isn't so much that's actually causing the problem. The weight of fire throws you off your feet, and you fall back. Morrell is built partially over the river. It's built out. Part of it is on land, and part of it is actually out over the river itself. As you go back, your heavy, heavy power armor goes through the wooden boards supporting it, and the entire platform shakes and shudders as you fall and hit some of the supports. Can you both take 2 harm, please?
Yikes. My armor, I assume, counts towards this.
Yep, as does Kyle's.
Okay, so 1 harm.
All right.
Just notes, I guess.
Kyle, what is your armor?
I mean, I'm assuming my power armor does something, but it doesn't actually say what the armor rating is.
Okay, what does it actually say? What are the tags the armor has?
Powered tough.
Okay, so in which case then, if I go into gear, it will actually give us all the tags down here. So for powered, motors in the joints remove any encumbrance from the outfit and let you carry heavy loads indefinitely. And tough negates disadvantage stemming from physical impact, hail, landslide, suppressing fire. Gain +1 armor when you deal with those. So it's armor 1 to begin with, isn't it? So
I guess.
that will put your armor up to 2, so you don't actually take any damage from that.
Okay.
So the platform shudders. You fall down into the water. Water starts seeping in through the. Is your armor sealed?
No, it's not. It's not airtight.
No. So you fall into the water, and water starts seeping in. Howard, sorry, it was Howard, wasn't it?
Henry.
Henry. So I remember it started with a H. I'm terrible with names. Henry, you see your leader take a hit and fall back through the platform into the water. You can see that the armor bobs up slightly and slowly start sinking below the water itself, and you can see bubbles coming up from the armor. What are you doing?
What's the ground cover look like between where I'm currently at and like the waterfront where he's fallen in, or is the whole town above? Is it like all on stilts?
The town. This part of the town is all on stilts.
Okay. I'm gonna look quickly for some sort of rope or a hook or something. And then I think I will use my power armor to punch a hole in the floor next to where I'm at, and then start swinging down from one rafter to another till I can get down close to where I saw Samuel go under and try to fish him out.
Okay. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to say that this is trying to diffuse the situation. So I think you're actually trying to diffuse with physical exertion. So can you roll plus force, please?
Possibly, yeah. Let's see. Oh, I got an 11.
Okay, so on a 10 plus, the situation is safe unless changed significantly. So you manage to get down there. You hook that rope round, you pull, and you manage to get his head above the water before the water fully seeps in. Sam, can with a swim?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so you're in the water yourself. As you're there, and as Henry is. It was Henry, wasn't it? As I said, I'm terrible with names. As Henry has basically punched through and grabbed the other suit of power armor, you can see 3 or 4 of these people, these squatters, come to the edge of the hole, and get ready to start shooting in.
They're at the edge of the hole?
They've come up to actually shoot down into the hole that you've fallen into.
Got it. Is there any cover here?
You can slip behind one of the beams that one of the supporting struts.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to do that. And actually, no, here's what I'm going to do. It'll be more cinematic. If I have an opportunity to, maybe I can grab one of these guys by the leg and drag them into the water.
Yeah, by all means. That would be assaulting fiercely with force.
Okay. I rolled a 6.
Okay. As you reach up for them, you manage to tug onto the trouser. You pull and try and pull them in, and there's a tearing noise as the ripped jeans rip some more.
I gotta say, I hate these guys a lot more because of their ripped jeans than almost anything else. These fucking gang of guys all in blue denim.
But you come away with some fabric in your hand.
Great.
And you sink into the water, and they unleash shots down as you fall, but they're not very accurate. They're not very well trained.
Okay.
Can you take 2 harm, please?
Okay. So I've taken 2 harm total. How much harm can you take before you die in this game?
It's on the character sheet. So if you have a look.
Okay. So I'm now both bruised and angry.
Yes, if this will be one. I love the conditions down here for injury conditions. They're different on each sheet. So they've put fire in, and you can see that they're looking round. They're basically ducking and diving, but there's only 3 of them here, and there was about 12 of them before. One of them makes a run over to the prisoner in the stockade, and you can see him using the butt of his gun to try and break him out.
Who are you talking to?
Oh, sorry. This is to Henry.
It's painbox time. I think this is like. I think he just reaches up and sticks it right on the bottom of the flooring up above him and just sends the shockwave shooting out through the ground to neutralize anybody up there.
Okay, I think that's assaulting fiercely again. So can you roll plus force, please?
Can it be? Well, it doesn't matter. Improvised technology. Okay. Yeah. Oh, another 10.
Wow. Okay. So let me just have a look at the tags on that again.
It's
So it's melee, non-lethal, area, and aberrant. Okay, all the guys standing, all the people, I say guys, there's a mixture of men and women standing around the hole. They wince, they scream, they fall back, they fall to the ground and start rocking. The guy in the stocks starts screaming as well. Kyle, you feel the most excruciating pain that you've ever felt. It's like every one of your nerve endings is on fire. Can you take 1 harm, ignoring armor, please?
Sure, yeah.
Oh, sorry, it's non-lethal, isn't it? Yeah, so it can't kill. Yeah.
All right.
So as this pain box triggers, you can literally feel all your muscles tense up. It's like every single part of your body is on fire and flame. All your nerve endings are triggering, and if it wasn't for the mask and for the automatic cutoffs, we'd be hearing screaming.
sorry, bud.
What are you doing?
Probably just screaming and thrashing a bit.
Okay. So are you trying to work beyond it, or try and actually push yourself to get out, or
If I can, then yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? How do you move forward in the narrative from this point?
Just trying to get out of range or out of the field of effect.
Okay. Well, at the moment you're being held up by this powered armor suit that's actually got the pain box on it. So there's 2 options. You either go up or you go down.
I'm going up.
Okay. So you clamber out of the hole, and as you get to the top there, you're literally confronted by 3 prone figures in front of you.
Can I just? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go.
I was just thinking, like, once he gets up out into the hole, I'll disengage it so he can go about his business.
So these as you get up out of the hole, the pain stops. I say stops. It never really is going to stop. There'll be times at night when you're dreaming and you remember this, but for now, what you have is a memory of pain rather than pain itself.
Sorry,
go on.
I guess I point my gun at the attackers and are just like, stay down.
Okay. So I think you're trying to defuse there. And
Sounds good.
Are you trying to? You're doing that just through pure intimidation, I take it.
I think so. Yeah.
So can you roll diffuse with plus force, please? Okay.
4.
Okay. They see you. They see the gun, and the one who you're pointing at directly, his instinct is to go for his. He reaches for it, and as he lifts it, you get an opportunity to fire. So you get to shoot him first.
Yeah, I shoot him.
You shoot him. He goes down screaming. The other 2 people, though, get their weapons up, and they start firing again. And this isn't going to be enough to hurt you. So the fire comes in, it's bouncing off your armor. But what it does do is it does distract you. The amount of fire coming in, the ricochets blind you, and it is just this echoing noise that you hear inside the armor itself. And that's the distraction they use to try and get away. They slip out. The Rangers are still putting fire down, and one or two of them fall as they run. And they fall unconscious. You see that they're moving out with the actual, with the member that was in the stockade. And he's screaming bloody murder at these goddamn farmers as he disappears off.
Dead bastards.
As the scene clears, one of the pack rats is missing. But the sound of battle fades away. There are 3 dead squatters and 2 more that have been hit with darts by the Rangers. And Wither, you're there at the bottom of you're there under the town itself. You, in the water, you have the rays of the sun coming down, illuminating the water around you. And as you look up, under the platforms themselves, you see this strange fungal growth.
Oh shit. All right, I'm gonna. That probably startles me. I'm gonna just try and swim out of there as fast as I can.
Okay, you clamber over to the rope that was used by Henry previously and manage to scramble yourself out. And what do you do when you get to the top?
Well, I let other people know that I'm alive for a start, and then I tell them like the fungus, the sleeping fungus. There's blooms of it all over under the docks.
Well, okay. I think we need to clear out at least.
Yeah, it seems like this area is really dangerous. Could that be what's been happening? That there's just been fungus growing under, like below the water line, throughout, and kind of like on the underside of buildings in all of these like riverside communities.
I mean, it's not impossible as far as I know.
Maybe that's what's really spreading this disease.
And I think we'll zoom out there at that point. Actually, no, we're not going to zoom out there at that point. There's one last thing that happens. One of the Rangers comes up to Wither afterwards and throws him one of the guns that the squatters were using. Wither. Oi, Wither.
What?
Yeah, you seen anything like this before? And he throws it over, and it's clear, crisp black plastic. It's
No.
new.
Well, that's disturbing. I wonder who their new friends are.
And then we'll zoom out. Okay. So the process for zooming out, and this is where I should have opened the copy of the rule book rather than relying on the sheets. If you just give me 2 seconds, I'll just get the PDF open. Sorry about this. This is the problem with running online rather than actually using a book around a table. PDFs are wonderful things, but not if you forget to load them up. Here we go. 2 seconds. In fact, tell you what, we'll have we've hit almost 2/3 of the way into the session. If we come back at 5 to the hour, and we'll do the zoom out then. Okay. So I'll see people at 5 to the hour. Hey up.
Hey,
Sorry, my cat was being needy.
it's all right. I grabbed myself a snack. So. I'm glad you're running this. I've been wanting to play it for a while. So
Same here. It's the way it normally goes. There's certain games that I loved Lowell's recent run of it, and I was thinking I've got to have a go at that. And I kept on going. Okay, someone run it. Someone run it. Someone run it. Why is no one running this? Okay, I guess I'm going to run it then.
yeah,
It's,
or people run it at like a time that I can never make or something. So yeah,
well, that's the thing. There's so many games I'd like to take part in on the Gauntlet, but they're always outside of times that are good for GMT or my work schedule, which is all over the place. There's only 2 nights a week where I can regularly play games at the moment, which is Monday nights and Sunday nights. And that's going in about a month's time when work changed my rota. So rather than working till the 6 on a Sunday, I'm going to be working till 8. So once the new rota comes in, it's effectively going to be Monday's the only night I can actually play any games on the Gauntlet. Stress. Go to work so I have money to buy games, but then because I'm working, I have no time to play the games that I've bought.
totally.
It's the nature of being an adult.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm over in Berlin right now, so I can maybe throw something up Monday night or something next. I'm busy till the end of the year, but maybe in January.
Well, do you know Lloyd, who's on the Gauntlet?
Just from Slack a little bit.
Okay, he works at Modiphius, so they're the distributors for this game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking about poking him in the future. So you know these live streams that Modiphius have been doing. Are you looking for players? It's about the only way I'm going to get to play this in the immediate future. Welcome back, everyone. I hope everyone's well rested and well watered. So I've been looking at the zoom out move. So we're going to zoom out from that little thing at the moment. When we zoom out, right, because you were playing a quick character, there's certain options that you get to actually have at that point. The four options are as follows. You found a new place in your family. You can change your main character's role, which is how they gain experience. You went scavenging in the wasteland. Add 1 tech to your family stock. Or they scouted for information. Describe a lead that might give you a new surplus or remove a need and gain 1 data. Or they helped out another faction or family, gain 1 treaty on them. Now, if you want to treat each watch as a faction, you can at this point if you want to gain a treaty on them. Or they discovered a new danger. Describe it and say which other faction or family it threatens.
I think I'm going to go with the scouted for information, since we're kind of out scavenging anyway. And I think, yeah, I guess, do you tell me what that is? Or
No, you say, okay. You describe a lead that might give you a new surplus or remove a need, and you gain 1 data. So what did you find?
I think we find like an old, like an old car dealership. I think we're in a pretty dense urban area, so like most of the stock was actually like underground and hasn't been, probably not working great, but we could probably get up there and fix some stuff up and maybe get a couple vehicles and remove our need for transport.
Okay, brilliant. So would you like to point to a part on the map where that dealership is?
Yeah. We're up here in Eastwatch, so
that's right.
I don't think we probably were going over the bridge. So, and the car dealerships are always like in the suburbs. So we'll put it like there.
Okay.
I think we're out there hunting for game and stuff. So that's where we come across it. Yeah.
Okay. So there we go. So okay, and now I have to remember to let everyone be able to see the nameplates. There we go. Okay, can everyone see that car dealership? Brilliant. Okay. So you send people out to look for food and look for supplies for Eastwatch, and people go out, and I want to see how well they do. Now you've got a number of enforcers, so this isn't the normal thing they do. They normally deal with people rather than hunt for food. So I'll let you use the follower move, but you won't get your quality. So you have to be a base 0 for it. So if you roll 2d6, and if you look in the journal, there is the handout section. There is something that says followers, which has the follower move on. So if you look down there, there's a move that's under orders.
Okay. Form a task, roll plus quality. All right. So you just want me to roll 2d6.
Just roll a flat 2d6, please.
All right.
Okay.
6.
So they go out and they try and hunt these animals, and they find a few, but they wake something that's a bit more dangerous, and several of them get injured in the process. Now I believe you already have a need for recruits. Is that right? So you can't gain need for recruits twice. So what other need do you get in its place?
I think need for doctors or medicine.
Okay. So can you add need medicine to your sheet, please?
Mm-hmm. Will do. Done.
Okay. So your scouting parties come back, and they have a little bit of food, but many more injuries. They come back to the walls of Eastwatch, and Topaz comes out to meet them. He talks to them. He takes what few morsels they hand over, but you can see in his eyes that he doesn't think this is going to be enough. And he disappears back into the walls. And the doors close. Several days pass, and the doors of Eastwatch open. You can see You can see what looks to be a large group of people. They make their way through the doors. Most of them are crying or in tears. You can see several of them are carried on splits and stretchers that are dragged behind pack animals. They shamble, they're slow. And you can see around about 60 people being forced from the town. They stop to shout up at Topaz as he looks down from the top of the wall, and he shouts his apology, and the gates close. They pound on the gates to let back in, but no, the gates remain closed. And the now exiled townfolk look around at the cold wilderness that waits them. You're there to see this all, Jailbird. You can see these people who have been cast out. They are leaderless. They are miserable wretches. Quite literally miserable. They are weak. Although many of them do not show signs of the disease, many of them do. And they start this slow trudge away from the walls. Are you doing anything?
There are other members of the Harriers here, yeah?
That's right, yes.
I guess Jailbird is feeling conflicted because on the one hand, they need to take care of their people who are just injured. On the other hand, they need to uphold their compact with Eastvale in some manner. But on the other hand, upholding that compact with Eastvale means, protecting all the people there and maintaining the quarantine. So I think what they do is they jump on their motorcycle real quick and they zoom up and kind of peel in front of this caravan. And they say, "Stop."
The people at the front back away from you. They're deathly afraid. Several of them have walking sticks and clubs and improvised weapons, but nothing like proper guns or armor or anything. And they raise them as you come near.
"I'm not here to hurt you. What did Topaz do? Why did he send you out?"
He said with winter coming, they did not have enough food for us all. Out here, they said we had a chance. But if we stayed, we doomed everyone.
And how did he decide who got to stay and who had to go?
Those of us under quarantine.
Isn't he also sick? Shouldn't he be out here with you?
They turn and look at him, and you can see there's almost a hatred there. That is hypocrisy. Yes. You should.
With that, I think Jailbird gets a little rash and jumps back on their bike and zips up to the gate, jumps off, and yells up at Topaz, "You're a coward. You're going to send them out here to die, and you're going to sit in there and wither away yourself?"
My people need me. I can do more good for them here before I pass.
Half of your
out there.
Half of your people are out here.
I know. I know. My family is out there.
You proud, arrogant bastard.
I do what I have to do to save those that I can.
Someone else can do it in your stead. If you're going to send your poor and your weak out here, you better be with them, or you're a coward.
You've done many things to help us over the years, Jailbird. But don't take this liberty. I have had to make a hard choice. I will have to live and die with that choice. Do not think it was an easy one.
Well, you made the wrong choice, and there's always time to change your mind. If you're going to send these people out to die, you better be there with them to the end. Can I do my matter of honor?
Yeah, just give me 2 seconds to get that move up.
It's fine.
Is that on your character sheet?
Yeah, it's when you win a duel of swords, riddles, or whatever. It actually says whatever on there. Roll plus sway. On a hit, the audience sees you as the correct, or at least the most honorable party.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes in this instance. This is effectively a duel of honor rather than an honor duel. So yeah, by all means, roll plus sway.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh God, the dice don't like you tonight.
Only when I'm in power armor.
The guards on the wall look at their leader. They look down at you, and you can see they raise their weapons and point them downrange at you. Topaz looks at his guards. My people have spoken. Those out there will need to find a way. They have a greater chance out there than they ever would in here.
Okay. Well, then I think Jailbird is going to say, fine, but don't expect me to stick around to help you. I'll leave some of my men here to honor our agreement, but I won't be able to do so. I can't stomach this cowardice. So,
do what you must, just as I have. And he turns and limps away from the edge of the wall and from your sight.
Okay.
And we'll move over to the other characters at this point, I think. I think you've both got back to the farm after everything that happened up in Morel. So the rat caravan, the caravan of Patracks, quite literally Patracks, rats, makes its way up to the farm. And what is the border of the farms like in that valley? Is there anything marking the edge of the farm, Sam?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's probably fortified, in fact.
Okay. Do you have surplus defenses?
No, I don't.
Okay. So it's fortified in places, but there are going to be sufficient holes to let people through. So what does the main gate look like?
We'll say it's like a kind of like what are those checkpointy things for vehicles to pass through?
Okay.
Although it's mostly animals rather than vehicles that pass that way these days.
So we get to the gate, and as pull up. They see the power armor way before they see the smaller people behind. So the column gets there, and as they see the Rangers at the front, you can see the guards on the gate visibly relax. And they come forward. Hello, Wither.
Who am I talking to?
This is Rance. This is the chief guard, the captain of the gate guard.
Hello, Rance. I'm back from my travels. Brought some friends.
I see you've been hunting.
Something like that.
He looks at the people in the power armor. You're not expecting them to come inside, are you?
We should talk. We've learned a lot about the origin of the dreaming sickness. I think that we may want to work with the commune to try and see if we can put an end to this.
You know our rules. No outsiders in the farms.
Well, then we should bring others out to treat with them.
He points to a small set of barns that are actually just outside the farms themselves, and it looks like an old horse barn. And he says, "Tell them to keep in there and to stay out of that armor."
All right, I'll come back and let you guys know. Sorry, they're a little crazy. I think the disease has made everyone on edge. They can set up camp in the farms, and they ask that you take off the power armor. That shouldn't be a problem, right? There should be a threat of combat here, and there's plenty of guards.
Yeah, all right, we can do that.
You okay with that, boss? Really? After what we just went through, that firefight?
We'll stay out of them, but we'll stay near.
Yeah, I mean, don't like we're not trying to take your guns or anything. Keep that stuff with you. I'll get some food brought out. We should have plenty of supplies.
So Wither is allowed into the farms himself, and he moves down. He can see that there's she. I'm sorry, I do apologize. She moves down, and as she moves in, you can see several white tents set up outside the farm itself.
What are those? Those are new.
We needed somewhere to, our hospital's not big enough. Our infirmary's not big enough. We needed somewhere to look after the injured.
The injured? What happened?
Someone made a rush on one of the holes in the wall a few days ago.
I see.
They're using some quite. They had a whole buttload of weapons. It was everything we could to actually fight them off.
I see. Yes, the squatters seem to have found a new patron, or at least a new source of gear.
We weren't able to identify the bodies. We had to burn them out eventually.
What do you mean burn them out? Burn the bodies, or we had to burn the squatters out?
No, they took up they took up residence in one of the buildings. We had to get the weed treatment systems in. The flamethrowers.
I see. Well, that sounds bad.
Well, yeah.
And
we couldn't have them taking pot shots at the main labs or seeing what's in there. And it was only an old building. We weren't really using it. But come on, I'll take you to see the elders.
All right.
So you get taken in front of the Council of Elders. And
the partners.
Sorry, the partners. Sorry, you're quite right. I'm getting the name wrong as well. It's too much bookkeeping in this game.
I mean, there's so much. There's a lot of moving parts. We're all each responsible for remembering as much as we can. And this is my faction, so. Happy to hear
So,
about that.
so you get brought in front of the partners, and they are. You can see that they've had a. You get brought in towards the end of the meeting, and you can see it's been getting acrimonious. And there's been a lot of shouting. Some people are red-faced, and you can see that there's been a lot of disagreements here. And Race goes up and goes, "Sorry for disturbing. Withers just got back. I think she wants to talk to you." And they stop, and the chairman, the person who's chairing the meeting, actually, is anyone chairing the meeting? Do they actually have a person who actually chairs the council of the partners themselves?
Yeah, we'll say that there's a management committee, and there's also a what do we call this? We'll call it the chair. This is a rotating position.
Okay. So the chair comes around and says, "More bad news. Come in with her."
I'm not sure this is bad news. I have been traveling south along the bank. I met up with a group from the commune. Together, I think we've made a lot of progress on what is causing the dreaming sickness. There seems to be a fungus growing along the lake, or growing along the riverbank, under the water line, and particularly under piers and in old construction. And we've found its spores connected to the sick. I think it's growing inside them. I hold up a vial. We have a sample for managed to obtain a sample from a late stage patient.
Excellent. We'll get the lab to look at it. Have you seen anything? Have you seen anything of the squatters out in the wasteland itself? We've had a bit of an incident the last few days with them.
They raided our people in Morel as well. We were able to drive them off. They seem to have advanced weaponry made of black plastic, and I'll take out the sample of that I have as well.
You can see that as the gun gets put down on the table itself, a few people take a deep breath.
Don't worry, it's empty.
Where would they find such a thing?
I do not know, but I am extremely interested to find out.
They've hated us for years. I dread to think what they'll do now that they have actual weapons to fight back. But anyway, I suspect there's more to your story. Beyond this fungus, what else happens in the wasteland?
Well, as you know, we've been able to draw goods from Morel. I guess my character Wither didn't see all that stuff happening in Eastwatch, right? Right? Did she?
No.
She saw that Eastwatch was in flames last time she saw there.
Eastwatch. Well, you didn't go to Eastwatch. You went.
Okay. So then I'll just say that there's a lot of tension in Eastwatch. The city seems on the brink of chaos. That's all I know.
Do you think we can exploit it?
No, I think we're a little overextended as is. We need to protect ourselves from the squatters and find and deal with their new source of weapons. And we need to try and find a cure for this disease.
Yes, well, you've done very well bringing us the sample. I'd like to table a motion. Given Wither's intimate familiarity with this, I would like to point Wither as head of this project.
Which project? The disease or the squatters?
The disease. All in favor? You get about half the table raise their hand half-heartedly. All opposed? Only one or two puts their hand up, and they bang the gavel. Motion passed. You've got our authority to deal with this, Wither.
I'll make sure it happens.
The only thing I would say, if you do find a cure, bring it here before you announce it to the rest of the world.
Well, I mean, I think the cure would be we would develop the cure here. So.
No, I mean to this council.
Oh, to this council. Interesting. Yes. Very well.
Very well.
All right. I think Wither probably goes to the labs next and is going to shortly discover that we have a need technology. So what's the situation like there?
You get to the labs, and some of the smaller labs are fine, but the more advanced kit that you had, you can see that there was a gas leak in one of the labs, and the entire building has burned down.
Jesus.
So there was an explosion, and the gas supply went up, and the sprinklers weren't properly maintained because you couldn't get the parts for them, and people tried to fight it by hand, but
I see. Yikes! Yeah, it's difficult holding out here. I'll go out and talk to Samuel.
Okay. So Sam, what have you been doing out in the spawn?
Setting up our research stuff as best I can, I guess.
Okay. So you brought scientists with you, didn't you, or researchers?
Yes.
Okay. So that they've basically transformed the barn into a workshop. There's several people off to one side going through the different technical manuals that they brought with them, and you've got some people setting up equipment and lab equipment, and you've got several small you've got portable lathes with you as well, and things to actually produce parts. So when Wither comes in, what is it that Wither sees that catches their eye? What is it that stands out most from all this equipment?
We've probably got some pretty good lab equipment, I guess. Like intact and modern.
Okay. So Wither, you come in to see this this workshop being set up in the barn itself. What do you do? Who do you go? Where do you go? What do you say?
I go to talk to Samuel. Samuel's kind of their point person and is also my friend. Well, it looks like you guys are making yourself at home.
We're doing what we can. Will your council be backing this research?
Yeah, I have good news and bad news, as always. But I actually have some real good news. Which one do you want first?
Worst news first, I guess.
The worst news is that the gunmen that we faced in Morel seem to be based in Wyatt's Bones to the north. They have some. They have some kind of good source of pre-fall weapons, and they've been raiding and invading aggressively. So we can't count on this area being secure. We may have to fight for it. That's one. Thing two is that while there's been some significant destruction of facilities, of lab facilities at the farms. So those are the two bad things. The good thing is that the council has put me in charge of finding a cure, and I can take whatever I can use the resources that I need. If we can put something together, we can start culturing it en masse at the farms.
All right. Well, I suppose we should get started about that then.
Yeah. So I guess from my perspective, the priorities are getting something in place to replace the lab facilities that have been destroyed, and then we can start using them for research. We haven't been tasked specifically with defense or dealing with the raiders, but I can't imagine they're going to wait for us to finish this.
So you want to go after the raiders ourselves?
I'm not sure what to think. Maybe we should reach out to the lawgivers. They've protected the farm in dangerous times before.
It's worth a shot, I suppose.
I think you're on mute.
Indeed, I am. Okay, so what message do you send out to the lawgivers, and who's it who's sending the message?
I guess I'm sending the message probably, and I'll send some followers to do it. The message is so yeah, we'll send a person to tell them the message, which is that we're hoping to make a cure, but that the farms are under attack, and that therefore we need help.
Okay. And how do the lawgivers respond to that, Rye? You're muted as well, I'm afraid.
Are you guys spending treaty, or you just is this? Should I just decide?
You're muted, Sam. I didn't catch that.
Not spending treaty. You guys can just decide.
Okay. So I think the lawgivers are feeling like they've put out too many fires, or they're trying to keep all these fires put out. But I think Jailbird hears this over their comms, some chatter going about this, and puts in a plea that things are desperate out here. If there's a chance for a cure, we have to take it. Eastwatch has just jettisoned half of their population to starve in the wilderness. We've come across whole towns desolated. So if there's a chance that the farmers have a cure, we better go help them. So we'll tool up.
Okay. Doing that, you're already incredibly short-staffed as it is, with your commitments to Eastwatch and everything else. If you're going to do this, I think you're going to need to hold together.
Okay.
So could you roll hold together with plus mood, please? Mood is the number of surpluses minus the number of needs.
5. Oh, no, wait. Oh, 1.
Oh, dear. Okay.
It's rough.
Okay. I think your family is there, and they see all these things that they keep on trying to do. They see everything that they need to hold on to, and they send everyone they have out to do this. They send all the last few people at the roost to go north to actually help. They leave 1 or 2 people behind to maintain the building. And then
I think they probably can also just leave the building because they're slightly nomadic. So it's not like, I mean, they go there for lore, but it's not like they're fine to pick up and leave if they need.
Okay. So you leave the building empty. And occasionally people still go back when they get make new copies of the Book of Law that you have, the Book of Laws that you have. But one of them that comes back to you with news. There's someone else in the roost now. Someone else has moved in. There's all these armored vehicles in the actual car park.
They'll get theirs. Maybe, if the dice have anything to say about it.
Maybe not at this age.
So the Red Gun Raiders have taken over the roost. They now hold the west end of the bridge, as well as the bits around Greenbelt Park, and they camp to the north. They're establishing quite an empire that side of the water. But while it concerns people that they hold the building, the elders are comforted by the fact that they don't think they know the importance of the records within.
They can't read.
They just see it as a prominent, important building, and that taking it from you is more important than the act of taking it from you is more important than the building itself. And so they set up their camp there, and Magnum Red, their leader, makes it his new headquarters. Almost biting his thumb at you. But you send people north, and you come to the farms, and there is a gathering at the compound outside the gates, which has grown further as more tents have been added, as there is not enough room in the barn itself. So, with everyone together, what are people doing? Does anyone have an action they want to take?
So I want to try and convince the partners to allow the. Well, I need to talk to both people about this. But first, Samuel, are the. If I can convince the partners to allow the commune delegation into the farms, would you be able to help us rebuild our lab?
In fiction, yes. I'm not sure what the role would be for that.
Yeah, I have no idea, but
I think it would be a gather data first of all. I think you'd need a actual resource to be able to solve that problem.
Got it.
So I think you'd have to actually. I think there's something you'd have to find in the wasteland to actually allow you to fulfill that problem, or you can spend a surplus that allows you to solve that problem.
I don't have a surplus that would allow me to solve that problem.
I've got an engineering surplus.
Which, if you wanted to spend treaty, you could ask a commune to give you that surplus.
Okay. That works. Let's do that.
Okay, so I assume from that discussion that Kyle, you're releasing that surplus.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm spending one treaty on you. You're giving up one treaty on you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so the partners are reluctant. They don't want strangers inside the labs, inside the farms.
I understand that.
They don't want them to see the experiments that they're doing there and the new wonders that they are bringing forth into the world.
I mean, they don't need to be given total free run of it, but they need to. These are our labs. We need to rebuild them to be able to make our wonders.
Eventually, they relent.
Okay.
And Kyle and the commune is allowed in. They come in. they get to see the labs and the damage labs, but they get to experience and get a clue at least some of the things that are going on there. And Kyle, I'd like to say, can you gain one data, please, from that?
Yeah.
So you get the labs up and running. They're all producing at you get them up and running and working within a matter of weeks. Outside, things are still deteriorating. You hear scattered reports from the wasteland of roaming groups of sick people. You hear that Morale has actually taken in those cast out from Eastwatch, now that the farm has actually given it up and moved out of there. But they continue to get sick. In fact, they appear to be sickening at a more rapid rate.
Alarming. Okay. So can we now begin working on the cure? So I guess first I'm going to erase my need for tech.
Yep.
And then can we? So okay. Basically, I don't know exactly how this works in the fiction. I have what I need to cultivate medicine, a medicine surplus.
Yes.
I don't have a medicine need, so we can actually have a medicine surplus this time.
Yes.
But so I don't know, in the fiction, do we need to discover the cure first and then cultivate, or does cultivating count as like discovering the cure?
Cultivate will count as discovering the cure in this instance. You've got all you've got all the pieces to actually make that discovery.
Okay, cool. So, all right, we're very grateful for your assistance. We can basically take it from here. We will now need to, but it's going to take a couple, like 2 to 3 months to make the cure and produce like a lot of it. I mean, okay, so I guess that's the out of game thing to say. In game, obviously, we don't necessarily know exactly when, like, if we can find the cure or when, but we're definitely we're up and running and we're on the right track. And this is
okay. So I have to ask: is this a cure or a vaccine?
That is a fascinating question. I guess I feel like I should ask you, like, right? We're going to make whatever the best thing we can make is, but I don't know what that is.
No, I'm leaving this entirely in your hands for narrative purposes.
Oh, I see.
Would you like this to be a cure or a vaccine?
Yikes. This is a fungus, so it should actually be a cure. If we can find something that kills a fungus,
Okay.
like a fungicide, and we're going to want to be giving it to the people, and we're going to want to be also using it to kill the fungus. And there it is.
Okay, so I'm going to say a month passes.
Before tons of time starts passing, do the lawgivers show up? What goes?
Oh yeah, sorry, I said they'd already arrived.
Okay, they've already, okay.
So
and so I guess are you guys lawgivers planning on being proactively going after the squatters, or are you going to sort of like entrench and wait for them to show up, or like should we want to play out the scene where you guys show up? I don't know.
Yeah, let's play it out. I haven't really. I mean, I guess they would take into account like the positions of the others here on if they want like an aggressive response. It seems like we at least need to go out and figure out where they're getting all these weapons from and probably stop them from getting more, because the longer they have them, the better they'll get with them.
Yeah, well, so let's should we role play, or are we? I guess we don't, because we're in zoomed out mode. I don't know about that either.
It's up to you. If you want to do a micro zoom in to role play as your characters, by all means. I'm never going to say no to that. That's what we're here for. After all, we're here to role play.
I think we could just make a decision and get to it and zoom in then if we need to.
That's fine. I mean, so look, the big question for me is, do they have a source of weapons, or do they have like a patron? Those are going to be very different. So I'm very curious to find that out. my character is much stronger on the offensive than she is on the defensive, despite being a sentinel, because she has this ambush move, which is like super powerful. I don't know. Up to you guys. What interests you?
So, what would people like to do? How would they like to take? How would they? What is the plan going forward?
I think the lawgivers would take the fight to them and just want to. They feel like they're. First of all, I think the farmers are. There's a lot of doctors there, right?
Yep.
So they're one of the types of people that we are sworn to kind of protect, and I think that we also feel like we don't have a lot of time. We have a lot of other things we need to be doing, so we want to just go up there, take care of this threat, make sure that the people that we care about are protected, and then get on to something else.
Okay.
I think we'll go with
So you're going to be headed. You're going to be raiding Wyatt's Bones, are you? Or
Yep.
okay. So who's taking the lead on this? And are we doing this as a family move, or are we doing this as a zoom in?
I have my tooled up family move that I was thinking of trying to use, which is when you arm up your family and move it out en masse to bring justice, get 1 hold for each point of grasp, and I can just spend that to automatically do something. But Sam, did you want to use your ambush move too?
My ambush move is a character move, so if we're just going to do this at the high level, I think that's totally fine.
Okay. So it sounds to me like we're going to zoom in for a raid on Wyatt's Bones. That certainly seems the way we're doing this. When you can certainly bring along your people and use your tool up move, Rye, when we do that. Given that we have 13 minutes left, I don't think we're going to have time to do that tonight.
This seems like a great place to start next time.
Yeah, it seems like I agree. So with that said, at this point, I think I'm going to end the stream. And here we go.